Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise and speak following on from that considered contribution from my Joe Mathers on the Radiation Safety Bill, but I do want to just remind people who are watching this debate that the rather interesting contribution from Jackie Dean from the National Party before is interesting when seen in the context that she, of course, is most famous in this Parliament for writing to Jim Anderton when he was a minister and asking him what he was going to do to mitigate the risks and the serious harm caused for New Zealanders to their consumption of water. That's what Jackie Dean is in fact most famous for in this House. So I think it pays to remember that and puts into context her kind of interesting little rant about microwaves when you know some of the background about what she's famous for. Mr. Speaker, it is a pleasure to rise and speak on this bill. It's somewhat a surprise for me to rise and speak on this bill. I can only think that perhaps because it is replacing a piece of legislation that has taken the entire course of my lifetime to replace it, that's perhaps why I was chosen to speak on this bill. But I do want to just let the House know that Labor does actually support this bill to select committee because it does, of course, repeal and replace the Radiation Protection Act of 1965, and that will be replaced with the Radiation Safety Bill. And of course, technology has changed quite a lot in the course of my lifetime. I'm not going to go into too much detail about my earliest memories and how technology has changed over the course of that time. But the linotype, we might go back to the linotype, but I'm not going to age myself that much. Suffice to say that we all accept in this Parliament that over that course of time that there have been major technological changes, and therefore we need legislation that will keep pace with that. And one purpose of the bill is to enable New Zealand to meet its international obligations relating to radiation protection, radiation safety and security, and nuclear non-proliferation under a range of international treaties. And Labor does acknowledge the necessity of updating legislation such as the Radiation Protection Act 1965 to keep pace with technological changes. And we also, of course, support a high level of compliance with international best standard and our commitments to international treaties. Those things are paramount, and this piece of legislation does address those issues. As has been well traversed in the debate thus far, non-ionising radiation is not covered by this bill, but it will continue to be regulated by New Zealand standards. It was interesting to listen to some of the contributions from the National Party on this, and of course it was, I want to thank Simon O'Connor for reminding us that it was indeed his party that not that long ago did call into question whether our nuclear-free policy would remain, because it was actually his party, and I'd almost forgotten this actually until I heard his contribution, but he did remind us that not that long ago, his party said that the nuclear-free policy of this country would be gone by lunchtime. It would be gone by lunchtime. And so it's interesting that maybe that's one of the reasons why it's taken the national government so long to bring this before the House, because perhaps they are embarrassed about the stance that was taken by their party at that stage, or maybe that was a dead rat that they're still chewing on. I'm not so sure about that. However, in my remaining minutes, Mr. Speaker, I do want to just address the issue that last year more irradiated fruit from Australia was allowed into New Zealand, and that Labor's policies of having an independent food safety council and having a country of origin labelling will help to keep consumers informed about their food choices in that type of environment. Having the Food Safety Council independent from the Ministry of Primary Industries, I think, is a no-brainer, and that was proven about a year ago, or was it a little longer than that, when Fonterra had their scare over the botulism scare. So these are very serious issues that do need to be addressed. They won't be addressed through this bill, but I do wish the Select Committee and the officials good luck with their deliberations. Thank you.